Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another post-match reaction. Our second game of preseason has ended, and it's another loss, but I'm still not too bothered about the results. I'm more bothered about the individuals, and that's kind of where I'm a little bit disappointed. I think in terms of preseason, I normally say that I'm quite excited for this time of year, but this was probably one of the most boring games of preseason that I've ever seen us play in a long time. I mean, 3-2, you might think, a few goals, even though we lost. I mean, we lost against Celtic, and that was, a good game, but I mean, we had 3 shots on target, scored 2 goals. Clinical, yes, but excitement and full of, moments that you can pick apart, not necessarily. It was just kind of boring, but nevertheless, there were a few talking points, so this one should be nice and quick. I do want to get into a couple of things that did either make me scratch my head or make me, ask myself a few questions, reevaluate some positions. So before I get into all of that, if you do me a massive favour, please hit the like button on this video. It'll be massively appreciated, and subscribe if you are new. And I want to start with the crazy shit. I want to start with the absolute, I don't even know what words I'm looking for. It's speechless. Yeah, the crazy stuff. Let's get that out the way with first. There was a few interesting players in interesting positions. 10 minutes, sort of, 10, 15 minutes towards the end of the game. You had Rico Lewis playing as a false 9, which is a far cry from right back. I know he can play in midfield, but to stick him as a false 9 is just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I don't know what goes through Pep's head. But again, this is preseason. If I'd rather him stick Rico Lewis at a false 9 in a meaningless preseason game in America against AC Milan than whack it out in match week 17 in the Premier League in sort of November, December time, when we need to pick up points. You know what I mean? So it's an experiment. I don't think we'll be seeing too much. I think it was more of a needs must with the players that we had on the pitch. Someone had to go up there, and Rico Lewis was the chosen guy. I mean, it could have been any of the midfielders, to be honest, but I don't think we'll be seeing that. I don't think that's a thing that Pep's sticking Rico Lewis in a false 9 and going, oh yeah, that might work. That might be something that we can make work in during the course of the season. I really don't think so. Again, I think it's just a bit of a needs must situation. But that was crazy thing number 1, and crazy thing number 2 is what the hell was Calvin Phillips doing around, I want to say, an hour in, 70 minutes in, something like that, doing 2 360s and losing the ball on the edge of his own box. And it doesn't bother me too much because, again, I just kind of want rid of him. So it's not like I was expecting good performances and was hoping for some sort of major recovery of his City career. No, it's far past that. We know it's far past that. But what he was doing pirouettes on the edge of his own box, giving the ball away when he had multiple chances to, give it off to a teammate or just clear his lines, is beyond me. If there was even a small glimmer of hope for him to have any sort of a career here, it has well and truly fizzled out because he's just not learning while he's going. He's just not improving at anything that he needed to improve on. I don't think there was a way back. But if there was even a slim chance, like I said, it's gone. It's gone. It's not a great preseason showing. I mean, we might be stuck with him because no one wants to take him off our hands, but we might be stuck with him. But that's where I want to transition into one of the more positive performances because it's a similar area of the pitch. As in the first half, our number 6 was Perone, and Perone, having got 1 half in the first game and then 1 half in the second game, we didn't actually know how it was going to line up. When you saw the team sheet, he could have been playing as a fullback. It wasn't really out of the question. It could have been I think it was more of a pivot, but he was the deeper of the two, because he was playing with Nico O'Reilly, who's not really a defensive midfielder, so he was playing in a pivot. And it's something that we will probably see again in pre-season. And again, this is one of the... It makes me reevaluate his position because I didn't really see a place for him in the team going into pre-season, knowing that I didn't really think he was a number 6. I thought he was more of a number 8, and we don't really need that. We have multiple other players, stiff competition. So I didn't really know what position he was in going into pre-season. But if this is something that Pep's going to try, and he's going to stick to trying this, and I mean, let's be honest, it's clearly working. He's had 2 very solid performances. Not tearing up trees or anything like that. He's not grabbing the headlines. I mean, a goal in the first game, and again, just all around solid. He's doing what you want him to do in that position, which is keep the ball, be nice and tidy with it, and do nothing stupid. So that's one that I'm kind of keeping my eye on after today. I said after the first game against Celtic, if I was to do biggest winners and losers, that Wilson Esperan was probably the biggest loser after last week. Calvin Phillips is definitely the biggest loser today. I don't know what happened there. With some of his performance, he found himself in the box doing chest flicks and getting headers off. I don't have a clue what's going on there, but apart from Oscar Bobb, who I'll speak about in a minute, Maximo Perrone has probably had one of the better preseason showings, and he's probably one of the closer players to forcing their way into some first team minutes. And I mean, if what Pep says is true, which he said yesterday, the time of recording, he said yesterday in his press conference that probably not going to sign anyone. It's very unlikely that we, add someone unless, anyone leaves. Then we're going to have a Rodri backup that's already at the club. And if Maximo Perrone can, I still don't know how to pronounce it, whether it's Perrone or Perrone. I'm going to say both until someone corrects me in the comments. But if he can really, solidify that spot and have a good showing in pre-season and prove that he can do it, I won't be against him taking that role. If we're not going to sign anyone, my preference is to still sign someone. But if we're not going to, then maybe give him a chance, because Calvin Phillips, his time's gone. We need to give someone else a chance, and he may fit the criteria. I mean, again, like I said, biggest winner of preseason so far is Oscar Bobb. Another assist today. He is tearing it up on the right-hand side. He's sending a note to Savio. He's basically saying, look, I know you come in, but don't expect to start. Don't expect it to be easy. I'm coming for your spot. It's not guaranteed for you to play, and that's a good thing, because come the start of the season, with Savio not being there, at least not right now, for the pre-season tour, Oscar Bobb is going to be fit and ready and already have had plenty of minutes come the start of the season. So he'll, be prepared to start the season. So you may even see Oscar Bobb actually start a few games early on in the season, because he is ready. He is, he's done the pre-season. And that already puts someone like Savio, who's just come in and, maybe hasn't had as much, if, at all, a pre-season, on the back foot, and he's got to then prove his worth to the team. Again, it's not me dunking all over Savio and saying he's terrible, he's going to ride the bench. No. My point is that with these Oscar Bobb performances, it's going to force Savio to raise his level of performances. Same thing with someone like Doku. Doku wants minutes next season, going to have to up his performances, because someone like Oscar Bobb, who's impressing in pre-season, can easily take them off him with the way he's playing right now. So he's putting out a message. He's kind of always been like this. He's just never been given the opportunity. But he's dangerous. One-on-one, he's dangerous. I mean, it's still kind of, I'm still not getting carried away with myself, because he's yet to play against a typical defense that we would play against, where it's like 2 banks 5 and sitting deep on the edge of the box. It's in pre-season, he's not playing against, parking the bus, trying to shut up shop, which he would do, in most games in the Premier League. So of course there is potentially a little bit of a change that could happen in his performances when it comes to the real stuff. But based off what we're seeing right now, it's electric. He's been the best player of our preseason tour by far. By a million miles, he's been our best player so far in preseason. So, again, biggest winner of the preseason so far is Oscar Bobb. He's really making a claim to, be one of the first names on the team sheet come the start of the season. He really is. So, I guess that's kind of where I want to wrap it up. I mean, there's not really much more to talk about. Like I said, the game was boring. Everyone else is pretty quiet. Shout out James McAtee for getting a goal, but I think he was a bit quieter today. It was a good goal. Good work from Micah Hamilton, to provide the goal. But Apart from that, it was relatively quiet. We were playing on a baseball pitch that was half covered over with grass because there wasn't enough room for a full pitch, and camera angle was weird. It was just odd. It just didn't feel right. I don't know what it was. The whole thing just didn't feel right, and it just wasn't very entertaining. So not much to talk about, but those are my thoughts. Yeah, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. If you do me a massive favour on your way out of this video, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. It's massively appreciated, really helps the channel out, and subscribe if you are new. Next up, I believe, is Barcelona let me just check, on Wednesday midnight, so Tuesday night. So again, no preview. I will, bring this up every time I do one of these. I did a full pre-season preview at the start of pre-season, which covered my thoughts on what I was looking forward to. So if you want to go back and watch that, you can do. There will be no preview for the further pre-season games. But I will obviously break down a few things that I saw at the end of every single game. So it'll be Barcelona next. If nothing breaking happens transfer news-wise, which I hope to God there is something, because it'd be nice to sign someone else. But, based on Pep's quotes, maybe not. But if there's nothing else, I'll see you for Barcelona.